Hello everybody and welcome to Chatter's Spring Summer Virtual Trends event. Thank you so much for having us in your living room today. I know that we're all on lockdown right now, so what a great way to be able to infuse some excitement of just knowing what the trends are happening for our upcoming spring and summer. So because you have me in your living room, I want to make sure that you know that I want to make this a one-on-one thing. So if at any point during our chat today, you have any questions about anything, I want you just to write it down and we'll make sure to answer them for you. And before I get going, can I get a thumbs up to everybody if you can hear me okay? Awesome. If anybody at any point is having some technical difficulty, just go ahead and tap refresh on your browser, that little circle with the arrow, just to refresh the link and you'll be good to go. But like I said, I want to keep this totally a one-on-one. I'm here for you today. We are here to answer all your questions. So at any point, feel free to shoot them our way. So first thing first, I'm sure you guys all got your little boxes of goodies. I want to show you. We have in there our agenda. So I just wanted to run through this quickly just so you know what's happening today. We're going over our first two looks and then we're breaking for lunch. And why I'm telling you this right now, because in your box you probably have a little code in there for your Uber Eats so you can go ahead and order something so it'll be ready for you on break. As well as after that, we have two other great looks that are trends that are coming for this spring and summer. And we are going to go into there. I'm going to dive right into products and I'm going to be showing you a lot of one-on-one of styling. And at any point I wanted to share a hot tip with you, I'm going to yell it out. So make sure to have your pens ready to jot down those notes so you can be able to share those hot tips. Another really cool thing is this right here. This is a seed paper and it's not made from seeds. It actually has seeds in it. So what you want to do, oh, I see Tizo says hello, hello, hello. That's why I'm getting the notification when I see something. So make sure to shoot in those messages. But the seed paper, you see on the back here, it's going to give you a complete description of what to do with it. You tear this up and you can put this in dirt, water it, and it is going to grow flowers. It's wildflowers. How cute is this? I'm obsessed. It's super adorable. So that is the day. I want you to stay with me and we're going to keep chatting about what is happening for spring and summer. So I'm inviting in one of my first models. She's quiet. And I also laugh at my own jokes. So I'm just letting you know. I'm pre-warning you. And I want to dive right into our products and styles. And you probably notice right off the bat, she has this gorgeous lavender color. So we are definitely seeing pastels are not going anywhere. And pastels can be an actual pastel color or more of a faded or diluted tone. So what's great about this is kind of that lived-in feeling, and it's really awesome to be able to have that, especially during this time because we don't really know when we're going back into the salon and out of the salon. So with that being said, this you can do at home. I know, it's pretty awesome. I'm gonna show you right now because I'm not sure if you've heard of this line or tried it or anything, but I am absolutely obsessed. This is the Celeb Luxe our viral color. Now, these colors come in all shades. So viral being more of like a non-natural looking tone. So you're getting into things that are a lot more pop. Like we have blues and purples and yellows, like fluorescent yellows, like really awesome stuff. So what this is a color wash. So you're going to put this on your hair, you're going to shampoo it in. There is conditioners as well, so you can use that as well if you'd like, and it deposits color only. So after a few washes, it will rinse out. And why I'm so obsessed with this is because it's literally a no commitment color. So just like my men, I like no commitment, just kidding. But like, but just like with your color, it's great because you can definitely add this in to anything. So you want to try something new? This is the best time. You're on like lockdown, you can try around and play with some tones. I actually put it in to my balayage and I used coral, which I have right here. And I put that into my front piece, like just my money piece area, and it just really kind of gives me a little bit more life. Like I said, there is so many tones. These are all the ones that are a lot more pop, but there is also tones that are natural. So I have one at home that's just a gemstone copper, and it's to refresh my natural hair tone. There's ones for refreshing your brown hair, brunette, black, there's all sorts. So definitely go online, check it out at chatters.ca to see what color you like, as well as if you're in an area that it is open, you can go in and check them. They are amazing. And your hair doesn't have to be super blonde to be able to put in the color. Obviously, if we're going into being a lighter pastel tone, your base does have to be a lot lighter to actually get that visual. But it's like basically having your own toner at home. The darker tones, you can go into a deeper level. So it's all great. The stuff, it works amazing. I had to see it to believe it. So now moving forward with her hair color, we actually put this on, her base was really blonde. So I'm gonna talk to you a little bit like a hairstylist at the moment. So when we're talking about color levels, think of it like a ruler. Number one being our, sorry, I'm drawing a blank right now. So number one being black, like super black, there's absolutely nothing to it. Number 10 being our platinum blonde, like super white. So she was in between a level 9 and 10 when I put on this lavender tone. So I just wanted you to know about that. Now moving forward with her styling here, I want to show you some of the things that we are going to be chatting about. Now I know this is in your booklet, but you don't have it in the box, and there's a reason, because this is so brand new. So many things right now that I'm telling you about is a bit of a spoiler alert, because I have Design Me. Design Me has a new product that has come out right now that is so new, it's not actually going to be on the shelves until July. But I wanted to give you the heads up on it because I am obsessed. First of all, it's called our Infinite Spray, but if you notice here, when you spray it once, it just keeps going. So when you go ahead and spray that, you don't have to keep pumping to get a perfect distribution of product. It has almost like an aerosol feel, but without the aerosol actually in the product. And why this is so great is because with Design Me, everything is cruelty-free, it's vegan, everything is so amazing, and they have actually got the PETA certification. So this is really important to know. They are amazing. What is so fun about this is, I'm not sure if you can see this, but I just have a picture of it, but the refill to this product actually comes in a carton, just like your milk carton. You're gonna open up, it's completely recyclable, biodegradable. The product goes right in there and then you refill it. So you don't need to have a ton of bottles at home. It's just one that you keep refilling. Super fun. Now I'm gonna start off with our Design Me. This one's Gloss Me. And what's great about it is, if you're familiar with Design Me, they have a serum called Gloss Me, and I'm obsessed. It's really, really great. This one is a spray, so it has a little bit of a lighter feel to it. It's not like an oil, but it does have moisture to it, so it's great to spray on wet hair, of course, but you can spray it on your dry hair as well. Just know, because there is a water base to it, it will reignite any of your natural hair texture. Why I love it is for our day 2, day 3, day 4, I won't tell, hairstyles, because if you want to refresh your look, you can use this by spraying it in and then go ahead with your blow dryer or anything to refresh. I'm going to show you what I'm currently obsessed with is our Dry Bar Hot Tool. And we got our double shot. Guys, I'm gonna go into this in a minute because it needs a few minutes to talk about, because I am completely obsessed about this product. But what's great about it, because there is a blow dryer in it, like a curling iron, you can definitely refresh the hair, spray this, and then go in with your double shot by Dry Bar. All right, now moving on. Whoop. Without knocking everything over, because that will probably happen at one point today. We got our Redken Deep Clean Dry Shampoo. Now Redken has just revamped their dry shampoo and I'm loving it. I mean, there's so many different dry shampoos on the market. I get it. There's so much stuff going on. This one is great because it's been recertified. It's invisible. So when you spray it in, it doesn't leave that texture, or sorry, that like residue. What's really important to know is when you spray it in, and if at any point you ever do see that residue, you want to be able to spray from the distance of your bottle. So this is a hot tip. It means you're spraying too close. So make sure to give it a good shake. You're going to go the distance of your bottle and spray it into your hair, and that you will not have any residue left. And what's really cool about it is it gives a little bit of like this refreshing, cooling kind of sensation. So when you go in and you spray that into your hair, you can feel it. It has a bit of a cooling sense to it. So I love it just from that. And the scent of it is really, really nice. It's not super heavy. It just smells super clean. Now remember, dry shampoo is one of those great things that, of course, we know what it's for. You spray it into your roots, but I'm going to give you a couple hot tips with dry shampoo because I think this is super important. Not only is it great to eliminate the oils, you want to make sure if you wanted to prolong your style, using dry shampoo is your way to go. And how you're going to do that is you're going to spray it into your roots when your hair is freshly styled. Now I know we always think of spraying dry shampoo in after our day 2, day 3, day 4, but you're gonna actually put it in when your hair is freshly styled so you can eliminate those oils before they even start. So it's a great way, and then you don't get that feeling of too much buildup. So do it right off the get-go. It will really prolong your style. Also, dry shampoo can be a styler, not only just for cleaning your hair. It's great to be able to go in and break apart any curls that you have if you want to give it that soft feeling. Now, when you do any sort of curling onto your hair, you know that you don't want to break it apart when it's too hot because then it will drop the curl. That's a little hot tip. So instead of going in with the hairspray, you can go in with the dry shampoo. The Redken line, because it does have that cooling effect, really helps to cool down the hot tool created curl that you've done, just so you can now go ahead with your fingers and it won't drop the curl. I hope I didn't talk too fast on that. I'm just really excited about it. It's really, really great. Now moving on to my next product here, but before I do it, I'm seeing my reflection because I have to talk about this shirt for a second. I just have to give it like a shout out because I don't know how many of you are like down with the leisure wear right now. It's all about the sweatshirts and everything. And this is so exciting because Brunette the label has paired together with Chatters for this limited edition sweatshirt. You can actually see it on the back here. I love it so much. But it's great. So it has you get your hair color type. It's not just redhead. They have balayage, they have brunette, they have jet black, blonde. There's so many. It's just such a fun like little hot gift that you can either purchase for yourself or you can purchase it for somebody else. Just so you know, it is only available online at chatters.ca. So it's cool. You can order it for home or you can order it to go to somebody else. I just had to talk about it because I can see like the sparkle reflecting off the lens and it's really great. All right, moving forward, we are going to dive right into some styling here. So we have our Dry Bar Volumizing Mousse. So before I jump into this, I wanted to talk about our style. So the hot trend for spring, summer is curtain bang. And what's great about it, I don't know if it's because of the fact that we've all been off and back and forth in the salon and not being able to go in the salon. So essentially a curtain bang is basically like a grown out fringe, but that is slightly rounded at the sides. And why I love this so much and why it's so hot to have this for spring is for all of you who are doing Zoom calls, if you're doing a lot of things that are all virtual, really all you're seeing is from the front. So this gives you a little something to like have that's face framing. It's really great to be able to style because it's super easy. If you're putting your hair back and all you're doing is styling your fringe, this is 2 minutes of effort and it really has a high impact. Now I get this question a lot about a curtain fringe. You know, what kind of face shape does it work with? And I'm going to tell you right now, it works with everybody because of the fact of the way that it is shaped on the face. So When we start talking about lines, we all know if you're wearing vertical or horizontal lines, they're going to create width or length when you're wearing it. So the same thing goes when you're styling your hair. So if you wanted to create softness, our way of doing that for styling in your hair is actually creating a diagonal line. So if your hair, or if you have a longer shaped face and you don't want to have that accentuated by having it just straight long, you can actually have a curtain fringe cut in and making it a little bit more on the higher side, the shorter side, so it wings out and it creates that softness and breaks up your face shape so it's not creating length. If your face shape is a little bit more on the square side, this also softens the sides so it's not so dominant. And what I would suggest is keeping a little bit more length to your curtain fringe, or keeping the sides where it rounds out, which would be on this area, on the longer side, just to soften out any sort of square shape. This is, like I said, it's a great thing to go to. If you're not ready to do the dive into a full fringe, a curtain bang is the way to go. So I'm going to show you how to style it. Before I use the volumizer, I'm going to use our Dry Bar double shot. Now what's really cool about the double shot here is it is a blow dryer and essentially a curling iron in one, because inside here, this heats up so it acts as a hot tool. When you turn it on, you have obviously some air blowing out, so that's where it acts as a blow dryer. And in here, even right into the bristles itself, you have the longer bristle and then you have the shorter one. So that will give you a lot more definition, grab, hold, and control. And it will really help to bring down any sort of product you have in your hair to really saturate all your hair while you're using it. I'm going to be totally real with you, okay? Because I'm in your living room, we're talking about this. I'm a full-time hairstylist, so I have seen a lot of different things come across as hot tools that can be a little bit on the gimmicky side. I've tried it, it's gone through, I'm being completely transparent. But I'm telling you, I'm obsessed. Because for me, even I'm a hairstylist, I do it every day, doing round brushes. Doing a round brush on myself can be really difficult, and this is amazing. I have it at home and it's so simple to use, and it is really easy to do it in my own hair. So it cuts down the time itself, as well as my hair is naturally curly, so I have no problems with it smoothing through. What I always suggest is just having a little bit of, taking it a little bit of the moisture so you're not going from soaking wet. Just so you know, we're talking about, spoiler alerts, the new product that is coming out with Dry Bar is this single shot. So if you're looking at this and you feel like that is too large or you're not about the oval shape, the single shot is a little bit smaller than this and it's just circle. So you'll have a little bit more of that effect. If your fringe tends to be a little on the shorter side, maybe the single shot is the way to go because it'll be a little bit smaller. So it'll give you a lot more bend. That's the difference between the two. This tends to smooth it and give you a lot more of a bevel, whereas the single shot will give you a little bit more of a bend, okay? All right, so I wanna show you how to blow out your curtain fringe. Even if it's parted down the middle or if it's parted to the side, it doesn't matter. You wanna be able to go in here and, whoops, I'm gonna turn it on. We're going in and we're rolling up. Now I have this blow dryer on. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay, perfect. Now, that's all you need to do is you're going in and you're rolling up. Now, before we get started on that, I know some of you might suffer from, you know, that bad case of the cowlick. We all got them, I'll tell you that much. So what you want to be able to do is blow dry your hair forward, crisscrossing on both sides, just to start to spread down that cowlick. So I'm going to show you like this. All right. Now, if you find that that cowlick is still there, you just keep going to the one side to eliminate which area it's tending to shoot over to. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll pop the double shot underneath, round it a bit, And then you're going to round it going up and over away from the face. And that is how you get that bend. All right. We always think that it's like a little bit more of just around all the time and then you push it to the side. That can give you a little bit of an S shape. So if you want to have that flick out, like that very like old school kind of Farrah Fawcett look, this is where you want to do it, by bending it up and over. Now, not only is this great to use for your fringe, I'm going to go forward and go ahead and put it on the top of your head to show you how to create volume. I'm going to use our Dry Bar Volumizing Mousse. Now, we know volumizing mousses are great on damp hair. So you want to put that in and go ahead and blow dry your hair. But what happens if you're on day 2 or day 3 and it's time to revamp that volume? I'm going to show you. I'm going to use my my Design Me Gloss Me spray just to revamp that texture and that hair. Then I'm going to use a little bit of the mousse. I'm just going to put a little bit in, just a tiny. And you can go ahead and put that right into the root. I know what you're thinking, dry hair. What the heck, we're putting this in mousse? Yes, because all we need to do is revamp it. Once it dries and it's lifted, you're not even gonna notice that you've put that back in. And I love their volumizing mousse because it really does add a little bit of oomph without adding a lot of texture. All right. So I'm gonna take my section and I'm just gonna roll it up and through, roll it up, and now I can hold it in that spot to give it extra volume. Now, if I wanted to have more of a curl, then I can wind that down for sure. And I'm holding my hand here and it is not getting too hot, so you don't have to worry about it adding extra heat on the hair. Now look at that volume. I love it. Now I'm going to finish off with spraying a little bit of our Dry Bar Sparkle Soda. And this is just a very light shine mist, not heavy at all. So this is a great way to finish off a look, especially if you've been diving in the dry shampoo a little too much and your hair starts getting that matte look. I know some of us have that going on. So it's nice to put on a little bit of like a shine mist. This one is a great way to go because it is very light. All right, I'm just gonna call my next model in. She is just over here. Okay, natural curl. I am obsessed. Now, did this drop down a little bit? Should I bring this up? Or we're okay? I think we're okay. Yeah, okay. Let me just put it up just a tiny bit so I'm not ducking. Okay. Her natural curl is absolutely amazing. And what is really important when we get into natural curl is knowing the difference between having great moisture in the hair and how to style. When you get into a tighter curl, going right from a wave to a tighter curl, your moisturizing levels change. So you want to make sure that you're using a product that has a water base to begin with and ending with a product that has an oil base. So I'm going to jump right into this because you can see on the one side, her hair is a little bit more tame. On this side, it's getting a little bit more frizzy. So I just wanted to show you how we're going to style it. And before I get into the styling, what's really important to know is how to start off with your style. So that goes right down to the shampoo and conditioner. And when you get into the shampoo and conditioner, you really want to use something that has a natural based oil. So when you see all those different ones that are out there, you want something that is truly a natural based oil. It works the best on curls. So I love this one. I'm going to show you. I think it's in your booklet there, Verb. They have a really great moisturizing shampoo and conditioner that is amazing for curls, and it is infused with sunflower oil, and which is like it's like a fatty acid, which is awesome to really soften that curl. Oh, we're gonna hold it up like this. We're good? Everybody sees it? Awesome. Don't look at my COVID nails. But we're going to, it has the fatty acid in there is amazing for adding just that softness to the hair. And because it is the sunflower oil, that also is adding a lot of softness and moisture that's really getting into the hair. I'm really obsessed with shampoos and conditioners because I know a lot of you probably have so many different things at home. And this is where it's really important to understand what is great for you, because you can have so many different options. You hear from one person that they like this, and you might not know if that will work for you, so then you have tons. So just a heads up, when you go into the salon at Chatters, you can talk to any of their beauty consultants. They're happy to help you out with that. Or even online, when you go to order something, a little question bar hops on and they have stylists right there to be able to help you out with finding the best product for you. But this is one of my favorites for curls. So when I want to style naturally curly hair, what ends up happening is when you wake up in the morning, it can be a lot like really out of place. What's important to have is like your satin pillowcase at home, which really helps that out, but it can get really frizzy and out of control. It doesn't matter if you have super tight or naturally wavy, it can have that effect. So with her today, I'm going to show you how I managed to bring this down to a little bit more of a tighter form. I'm going to be using our Design Me. I'm going to show you, this one is the Bounce Me for curls. So I would start off by using this in her hair when it was freshly washed. But for today, I'm going to use the Design Me Puff Me, which is a sea salt spray. So this is, I'm obsessed with, because I'm going to show you two styles of how to use a sea salt spray today. But today I'm going to use it on her really tight curly hair, which we wouldn't always think of a sea salt spray in this situation, but she's already had the Bounce Me put in, which is a great curling cream. I went in with my curl definition with Moroccan oil, which is really important to know. So sorry, I know I'm getting like a little bit off topic because I get like really excited, but when you want to start off with prepping your hair when your hair is naturally curly and super tight curls, you want to make sure you want to get those water-based products in first. So as I mentioned before, I used the shampoo and the conditioner. Then I went in with our Unite 7-second detangling comb, so you are a spray. You're going to go in and be able to brush through the hair, brush through the curls if it's in the shower or straight out of the shower. Using this also helps to give a thermal protection. So we got our leave-in conditioner. Great. We got our moisturizer. Whoops. I'll get that in a second. We got our moisturizer. That's when I go in with our Moroccan oil cream. So we want to add the water base, the leave-in conditioner first, and then the Moroccan oil cream to be able to define those curls. Now day 2, this is when I would go in and use my Design Me sea salt spray. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how this works. Just by misting it over, and notice how I just sprayed it once and it just keeps going. This is awesome. You don't get that like fingers. Whoop. Now I'm just going to put her down here. She's going to fall. I'm just going to grab our Dry Bar diffuser. Now, we know diffusers work great for long hair, but also is amazing to just refresh those curls and also kind of keep them tame. So I'm going to use this diffuser and I'm just going to tap on here. I'm just going to turn it down for a second. If you notice, this is such a great way to be able to just tighten up those curls so you don't have any flyaways. Just really helps to reshape. It can also help with creating a lot more volume. So I want to bring that hair up off the face. And I'm just going to do that by bringing the diffuser, just bringing that back. And now I'm putting it into place. If I used a regular nozzle hair blow dryer, what it's going to do is it's just going to shoot the hair all around. What's important with curls is you don't want that to move at all. Perfect. Now, if at any point you see that your hair is a little too frizzy and you want to define those curls again, you can go in with your Moroccan oil cream here. I'm just going to like I'm pretending, putting a little bit on my hand, and you can just go ahead and just tap it right in the ends. I like to do that around the front just to kind of get a little bit more of the definition around that's a little bit more face framing. Even just around the face line here, around the ears. In the back, I just love all that movement of texture. I'm telling you, this spring, summer, it is all about texture. So if your texture tends to be like really loose or if it's super tight, it's bringing it out and showing it off. It's all about that natural texture. Now, I have to show you something here that's a little near and dear to my heart, but we are going to be putting in some hair clips. Sorry, excuse my back now for a second. We are going to be putting in some hair clips by Duplantis Hair Official. Now, I have to tell you, this is my own line, which I'm super stoked about, that has now launched at Chatters, and everything that is picked for this line has been picked for a reason, because we are seeing exactly what is out there and what is needed. So one of the biggest things I heard for short hair is what kind of accessories can we use in short hair? And really, sky's the limit. Now this normally, if I showed this to anybody with short hair, they would say no way. But this looks amazing. I mean, I think there's such an influence right now of like those different shows that are on Netflix, like Bridgerton, we're seeing those. We're seeing almost like these period themed movies that are coming out. So we're seeing a lot more bling that's going into the hair. If it's within headbands, if it's jewels, barrettes, it doesn't matter. So with this, it's all about just the cluster. Now, is this really holding your hair back? A little bit, but it's all about just adding that cluster, a little bit of that. It's like a brooch for your hair, essentially. So I'm just gonna just line this in, and it is super adorable. Just really easy. You don't wanna think about it too much, and you can just play along, right along here. Super cute. Like I said, you can put these together so it looks like one big piece, or you can kind of like break them apart. It's really, really cute. And don't be afraid of trying new areas. You can see how it really changes your face shape when you put an accessory to lay down some hair in some spots. It really changes it up. Now, before moving forward, I really need to talk about our spray oil. Sorry, I dropped this down. Here we go. By Caviar. I mean, this is gorgeous. So notice how I talked about having a water-based product for the beginning. You want to end off with an oil-based product, really to just seal in that moisture. So I'm going to spray this. It is a great mist for over top, just to add that scrunch in. All right, I'm just going to tap that in and just kind of scrunch that. There we go. Now, here's a hot tip from backstage during Fashion Week, just so you know. If you ever find that you have a buildup of product and you can kind of see it, like you've sprayed your hair too much with hairspray, if you've just mixed too much products and you get almost like that white kind of flaky residue, by spraying in a nice mist just like this one right here and scrunch it, it really helps to eliminate. So if you've gone a little too crazy with the dry shampoo, this is also the way to go. I know we use the sparkling soda. This one's a lot lighter, so that's great. And then our Caviar here, our anti-aging, which is great for hair. Anybody who has that coarse, wiry hair, works amazing on. This would be your go-to. So this has a little bit more of a higher moisture, and this one's more of a very light shine. So it's kind of the difference between the two, but I love to use this at the end. It's great to spray it in your hair when it's wet because it really helps to go through a blow dry, and that's great. But it's always nice to finish off your styling with a bit of a serum or a mist of an oil. Because why I keep kind of bringing that up is when you're looking to moisturize your hair, the biggest kind of problem that we end up doing is we do the oil first and then we go on with water-based products. The water-based product can't penetrate the hair enough because the oil now is covering it. So you want to be able to use your leave-in conditioners first. You want to be able to use any treatments or anything like that first, and then you put the oil on after. Does that make sense? Thumbs up to that? Awesome. All right, so just kind of moving along, being able to style it and showing all the different ways. I wanted to show you another one that is super cute. Is don't be afraid of the hairband. The hairband is back, guys. I'm so pumped about this because I loved wearing them before. And now it's great to have them back in general because they are so easy. I'm just gonna slide this on our hair right here. Now I don't have a mirror. You guys are my mirror. How's that look? Nice and centered? Perfect. So there's so many great colors that you can get from Chatters right now. I'm wearing like a fun green, but there's so many different tones that you can play with. And funny enough, with hairbands, there is a rhyme or reason of which ones to wear. I'm gonna tell you right now off the bat, every age group can wear a hairband. So anybody who comes to me and says, I'm too old to wear that, no. That's not true. Any age group can wear a hairband. It also really cleans up a look, especially when you have to jump on a call quickly, just say on a Zoom call or anything where you're gonna be live. This is a great way to just vamp up that look. Clean it up. If you're a person that doesn't like to pull hair away from your face like this, then why not do what I'm doing right now and just kind of placing it in spot. I have all my little soft little flyaways, which I love to have around my face because it just softens the edges. And then I just have my headband on there. So there's so many different ways to be able to wear a headband. And a headband also is different for your different face shapes as well. We were talking a bit of curtain fringe and how that's good and what length you should get for your different face shape. Same thing goes with headbands. So right now I'm using a knotted headband, which is great because it helps to elongate. So if you're a person that likes to have volume in the front, I do too. So I can completely relate. Now my hair is a little bit on the flatter side because I'm kind of just emphasizing a bit of a curtain fringe. So I'm gonna use a headband with a larger knot on top to have that balance. Now, if you're a person that doesn't like to have volume on top, don't worry. You can still wear this headband because how you balance it is by adding more volume on the sides. So it's all about making sure that you know where to add that volume and what kind of piece. Now, if you like to have something that is a little bit wider and you don't want to have that volume on top, that's when you go into a different sized headband that can be a little bit wider on the sides and it looks gorgeous. You want to be able to pull your hair back and not do what I'm doing right now, then maybe you want to go with something that is a little bit wider on the sides because then it just really pops that hair out and it looks gorgeous. So I'm just playing around here. I'm just checking on our time. We're good. All right. I could keep going. Thank goodness there's somebody telling me that I need to like wrap it up because it is time to eat. So I hope you were already able to contact your Uber Eats so you can have a quick bite, or you do it right now. So for after our second session, you can either be eating or having something afterwards. Now our time right now is, I'm just gonna let you know what time we're coming off on. All right, 1 second. I think we have a quick, all right. Thought I had a quick question, but I'm just letting know that we are back at 1. So make sure to come log on or just leave your screen open. 1 o'clock, I will be back and we're gonna dive right into our second looks. Now, if during this time you have any questions or thought of something, by all means, you can write it in the question area and I'd be happy to come back and answer them for you. All right, guys, I'll see you soon. See you at 1 o'clock. Hello everybody and welcome back. I hope you were able to grab a quick snack and now we're ready to jump right in. I only have you for a little bit of time, but I want to get right into our styles and talking about products and what are trends for this spring and summer. So let's get started. We're gonna dive into our first look, which is, I think you can see it in the booklet, but it is an exaggerated part and an effortless wave. Okay, so this is where I get to have a lot of fun because I'm gonna play with a lot of heat stylers here. And I also wanna talk to you about the I want to talk to you about the exaggerated part and what that means. So if you noticed in the beginning, I was doing the curtain bang and she had a center part, which is really defined. We want to do the same thing. Now, when we get into a parting, we're looking at a lot of clean lines. So for a while there, it was all about a natural texture and wherever your hair wanted to fall. The natural texture is still there, but if you really want to emphasize your look, it's all about just exaggerating that part line. So maybe if you're used to being on this side, you're going to bring it down a little bit deeper. And you can do that super simply. Now, if your hairline has a bit of a cowlick and this tends to fight you, then what I would suggest is going on the opposite side. That will give you, now that she's already fighting me on it, that will give you, it'll lay a lot nicer. If you want to have a little bit more volume, then tend to go into the cowlick. That will help to like pop up your hair. So it all depending on what kind of shape that you want to do, but it all goes into the styling. So with that being said, I'm going to talk about the styling. Whoops. Here we go. So remember I was talking about the Design Me right at the beginning, and I was showing you how you can refresh your look and get into styles. Well, this is also great for refreshing your part line. So I'm going to show you. So you know how I was using it as like the sea salt spray? I'm going to do this as just bringing the hairline. So this has enough to just revamp it. See this great spray? And now I'm going to use this to create that new part line. I'm like obsessed with this spray because you don't have to keep pumping it. You just spray it once and it keeps going. It's great. Now, the whole idea behind this is when you refresh that spot and you have a cowlick, your hair is not going to want to stay. So you have to re-dampen it. Now, instead of spraying water in it, you can use something that has a little bit more of a hold and a texture to it. So that's why I chose the Design Me Puff Me here. Now, I'm just going to grab my brush. Now, I'm using a brush here that is double purpose. I love, and if anybody's ever had a class with me or anything before, I love a good paddle brush. So this one is by Wet Brush, but what it is you have these raised little bristles, and then on the inside, there's more of a boar bristle style in there. That way you have a really good distribution of bristles to hair. If you have the bristles are far apart, it's just going to grab the hair and it's not going to give you a smooth look. And that's great if you're blow drying your hair because it'll help to get a lot of the air through those bristles. If you have a brush that has the boar bristles in between, this gives you a lot more control and a smoother look. So I wouldn't necessarily use this for a complete blow drying, but I'd use it to help finish. So because I'm only going to dry this one area, it works perfect because I'm getting complete control, which is going to give me that perfect line. Now I'm just going to make sure that line is right on. There we go. If you notice, you can just like smooth that out. It is all about defining those parts and exaggerating. Is that exaggerated enough or do you want it a little bit deeper? This is good? Okay, perfect. You guys are my mirror because I really can't see anything. So I'm just kind of going along. Here we go. Now I'm just going to use my blow dryer. Now, like I said, this is how you can really eliminate any part lines or refresh your parting on a day 2 or day 3. Oh, she's crying. Okay. I wanted to jump in that for 1 second, and now I'm going to quickly talk about the nozzle. The nozzle is such an important part of the blow dryer, and some of you might have grabbed a blow dryer, bought one, and had this in the box, didn't know what the heck it was for, and just threw it in the garbage. Well, I'm going to tell you, you got to find it and put it back on. I'm obsessed with the Dry Bar, the new blow dryer. it works so great. And what this does is it helps to have that control of the hair. When you don't have a nozzle on, when you blow dry the hair, it's just blasting that air. So you're not getting any control. And if you tend to suffer from having frizzy hair, this is why it's doing it. You're getting a ton of frizz because it's causing all those little pieces to go every which way. If you notice when I was blow drying her hair, I can go really close to her headline. I'm not doing this and blowing hot air right on her scalp because that would get too hot. But because I have complete control with the nozzle, I have it right on her hairline like this, and it's shooting the air down, so she's not getting that direct heat right on the scalp. So this is no problem to get that control. The other thing too is if you take the nozzle off, I have a harder time getting that off. If you take the nozzle off and you don't have a nozzle there, you'll notice that there's like metal lines going straight across. That's what helps to heat up that hair as it goes through. So if any of you have discovered you are getting breakage, especially around the hairline, and you tend to round brush your hair, that's probably what it's from. Because when you use a round brush and you're putting those ridges, those little metal bars that are in the front of your blow dryer on your hair, they get so hot that it's going to cause breakage. So essentially you're burning it off. So that's why you're getting all those little broken bits. So that's why the nozzle is important. So I'm going to just finish drying this for one quick second. And now I'm going to jump into her style. So I'm excited about this because we're jumping into the effortless waves, right? So effortless waves are a big thing. Just like I said to you before, having that natural texture is really important. So that kind of plays on that effortless style. So depending if your hair is super wavy, if it's not wavy, one of the biggest questions that I get about this is, I get this, actually I'm going to put this in quotes, the air quotes. My hair is not a nice curl. It doesn't curl the same. Underneath it's super tight, on top it can be super lazy. I hear this all the time. So this is a great way to play on your natural texture. So the technique that I'm gonna show you now, you can do it with your natural texture, or you can just do it on your regular if you have straight hair. You can do this on top as well. So first thing first, what's important before you jump into a hot tool or using a hot tool is we want to have our heat protector. Guys, heat protector is number one. There is so many different ones out there, and I'll talk about kind of what the differences are. Some of them can be a heavier spray. Some of them can be a spray that you put on when your hair is wet. Some of them can have a hold to it, and some of them can just be a light mist. Firewall, I'm using this one right now. I find it's very light. There's not a real hold to this at all. You're just misting it on. You can definitely put it on when your hair is wet, but I prefer to use a leave-in conditioner when my hair is wet that has a heat protector for that extra bonus. And then you can put this on as you need it. So this sprays no problem on top of dry hair. If you go through and spray it, it doesn't leave a wet finish. In fact, there's a gorgeous shine to it, but if I go ahead with my hot tool in there, you're not gonna get that sizzling reaction. You know what I mean? So this is really good to go in and spray. Now, if your heat spray does have a little bit more of a wet heaviness to it, what I suggest is go in and spray it, just leave it a couple minutes to dry, and then you can go in. Remember, each section that you use when you're styling your hair with a hot tool, you don't have to spray each section. You're almost oversaturating your hair and wasting product. Just go in your hair, run it all in, and shake it through. This is a perfect way of getting that perfect amount of heat protector. All right, so Firewall is great because like I said, it adds that heat protection and it gives that little bit of shine, and there's a slip. You wouldn't get like a glide with your flat iron. It'll have a nice smooth. So now, okay, so I'm obsessed with this. I know I'm obsessed with a lot of things, but this is definitely one of them. Dry Bar came out with their mixologist. Have you guys seen this yet? It is fantastic. So first of all, this brings me back to my youth. Having the 3-barrel curling iron reminds me of like all those really fun like crimpers and everything we used to have. And actually, back in the day, I used to have one that was double, like had different plates. And this is what I'm obsessed with, is not only do you get the triple barrel, but you actually get these other 2 barrels. So we have like a 1-inch in a wand style, and then we have a 1 1/4 inch in more of like a tong style. You can use it as a wand for sure, but it gives you that tong control. All right. So these are great because basically it's like you can have one hot tool for everything here. So I'm going to put those down. Super easy. All you do is just clip this in. Now I'm going to turn this on. And now I'm going to turn it up. Now in the back here, I was already doing it earlier. And I've created some of these waves back here. This is really great because if you want to try something new that's not the regular curl with the curling iron, definitely go for the triple barrel. Not all triple barrels are created the same, so I'm going to tell you about a couple awesome things about this. If you notice they have the ridge on the side, that really helps out from not getting that dent right at the hair. So if you've ever used one that doesn't have that transition lip, you're gonna get like a ding right in it. We call it fish hooking. It's almost like you get that fish hook line right into your curl and then it doesn't look so natural. So this really helps with not having that. So I just created a bit of this wave. I had Alex here with me today and she was really helping me out with getting this done. So thank you, Alex. So now I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna do the exact same thing over here. What is really important about creating this wave is your elevation. Now the elevation is where you're holding your hair. Now I'm talking to you straight up like a hairstylist right now. Elevation means everything. If you hold your hair when your hair curls, when you drop that down, that's gonna break apart the curl, so it'll give you a lot more volume, okay? If you hold your hair down, this is low elevation, and you curl, your curl will stay in that spot. So if you're a person that suffers from like not having enough volume and you do a beach wave in your hair, guaranteed when you wrap it around your nozzle or your wand, you're holding it too low. If you want to have more volume, make sure to hold it up higher so those curls will break apart and stack and sit on top of each other. Now, in the case of doing a triple barrel, you want to have a low elevation because you're already getting a lot of movement with all of these different layers sitting on top of each other. You want to be able to see the definition of the wave. So you want to make sure that your elevation stays low. If you notice before we started this style, I created the part line first because if we went back and created the part line afterwards, you're not going to have as like a clean wave that's happening in the hair. So now I'm going to go in. Low elevation, and because of this transition lip, I'm going to go a little bit lower down the hair. Just to be under, I'm not going to go right to the root. I'm going to take a larger section because I'm going to show you how you can change up this look with the waver, with not just using the wave. So I'm going to tap this down. If you want it to be really distinct, you're going to hold it in there for a while. If you want just like a quick movement, then just tap it through. And that's all I'm doing. Super easy, super fast. All I want is an effortless texture. All right, I'm going to do the same thing on this side. So I'm going to put that piece up and I'm just going to go through. Low elevation, what I'm saying is keeping it on the lower side. I kind of dragged down the root. I took a large section, which is fine because this hot tool works amazing. And this is the difference between using a professional hot tool to something that is not so professional. And that is all in the heat gauge and the barrel type. So the heat gauge is where you can kind of change up the heat. Now right now I have this on 350. I don't need anything super scorching because I just want it to be an effortless wave. And if you notice, I'm not leaving it in for very long. That's totally what I want. Back here, you can raise up the heat and leave it in a little bit longer and you get more of a define. These are two different looks, but with the same tool. So I'm gonna do the same thing right here. I'm just gonna drop it down. So I'm bending it away from the head and I'm just giving movement. Now for anyone who has naturally straight hair, this is a great look to do, to be able to just give it movement. Like, you know when you just want some life to your hair? You can go through and add this anywhere. You don't have to go section by section. You can just go ahead in there and add movement. Just like what I did here. I want it to be like she just woke up like that. It was no problem. It's just her natural wave. Like I told you, having that perfect wave isn't necessarily in anymore. It's all about the effortless. And I'm gonna show you why this is so good. Now, same thing on this side. I'm taking another section. I'm not keeping it in for very long. I'm leaving it right here, and then I'm tapping it down. Notice how large this section is. I'm really giving you guys like some really fun hot tips on this, because if you ever try something new and you get halfway through or you finish and you're like, this is nothing like I wanted it to look like, I'm gonna show you different ways of being able to change up that wave. Or you spent so much time with it in the beginning, the day before, the next day you don't have to rewash your hair. How do you revamp it? How do you make it something different and current? And that's what I'm gonna show you in 2 seconds. I'm just gonna whip through these last 2 sections with this triple barrel by Dry Bar. Whoops, tight cord. Now I'm gonna leave a little bit of this fringe out in the front here. So what's great about talking about natural textures, and we're sharing these hot trends with you, I want to kind of talk about the hot trend that's happening with our hair. We know that ombres are really in, or sorry, ombres. We know that ombres were really in. I moved to like a balayage. Now there's a bit of a mix of both, having the ends going lighter. We have the balayage pieces going up, but a big thing about it right now is nothing's changed a ton about the actual coloring styles, except for you're seeing these money pieces. But what's really big is actually blondes right now. We're gonna see a lot of this going into spring, summer. They are getting warmer. For so long, we were looking at a lot of gray and silver, which is still super hot. It's not going anywhere. But don't be afraid if your hair naturally goes warm, embrace it. That beautiful, beachy, warm, like California look is definitely in. And I wanted to enhance it here, because I know there was like kind of a clash between like the silvers with trends. Like my hair would never go silver. And even if I tried to make it silver, it would not look good. It just doesn't suit me. There's so many great skin types out there that just would suit that warm honey blonde, and it's gorgeous. Embrace it. Really, really big. So, okay, so I'm just running this through. I'm getting some fun texture. If you notice, it's super loose. Really easy. I left this one piece out. Actually, I'm gonna tap it just a little bit. But see how you can kind of go in and just do one marking, that's it. Now, I'm going to use this wand, and I'm gonna pass it over because I'm going to get this taken off and just put onto a hot pad. What's great is you can really change those different styles of hot tools. And what's awesome is Dry Bar comes, when you order it, you actually get this heat case. So you can drop the hot tool in there and then replace it with the next one. You don't have to worry about it like heating up anywhere. It goes right into the case. Now I'm gonna move on to the next look. Thank you, Alex. So what's great about this is now I'm gonna show you how you can change this look up. So either you did this really quickly with your triple barrel. How are we seeing this right now? All right, I'm getting the thumbs up. Either you can do this really quickly with the triple barrel and you get like this like kind of very effortless wave. But if it's a little too effortless looking, then you can go in with your wand. And this is where I'm gonna change it up. So if you notice, I've just put the wand in the curl and now I'm gonna just run it up and down. And all this is doing is it's heating up those areas and it's just changing up the actual curl style. So here we go. I'm gonna go once again in here. So I'm wrapping it. If your hair tends to go really tight when you wrap it around your wand and you get that look, then why not run it up and down? This really helps to just like, it almost loosens that curl a little bit more and it's giving a curl bend. So that is a great way to just change up that texture of the 3 barrel. You can use them both together. It's all about that S shape that's happening right now. I'm sure you've heard that before. In anything, really. They talk about the S shape. This is great. Another reason why I like this so much is if you are a person that likes to sleep with their hair up, which I always strongly promote on a daily, when you go to bed, get that hair off your neck. Like sleeping with it, it's gonna get like just bunched up. It's going to get, you know, ruined. It's gonna, maybe if you sweat at night, you're just gonna have a lot of issues with all the hair back here. Put it up in a light scrunchie when you go to sleep. The scrunchie itself, you wanna have a large one. At Cheddar's, they have really great large ones by Duplantis Hair Official. but because it's large, it's not going to cause that dent in it. So when you drop it out, you might have a little bit of a, like a loop in, but it won't cause that dent, and then you're keeping that hair off your neck. And just say you did have a dent in there from your scrunchie, then what you can do, sorry, a little bit of a short cord here, is just go in and just wrap that barrel around where there's a little bit of a mark. And you can just run it up and down, and that will help to eliminate any of those markings. Sorry, I'm just gonna go like this. Now in the front, when we're talking about different waves and effortless waves, I'm gonna show you a really hot tip about creating a wave. So we've seen the wave going away from the face, which I showed you earlier with doing the curtain bang. Now, talking like a hair expert right now, or like I'm talking like you guys are, we're all hair stylists. One of the things that is really noticeable when you create that is we start to lose the hair on the sides. So if any of you curl your hair away from your face and you notice your hair always ends up in the back of your head and you almost have like, I don't want to say it looks like a mullet, but it has like, you're losing all your hair. Like your hair is going in the back. There's not a lot of like, I'm gonna use me as an example right now. There's not a lot happening here because you're literally training it to go back behind you. A hot tip for that, to give you that fullness in the front, is to curl these sections towards. Now the sides of your head, the reason why this happens is not because your hair is finer, you have an ear. That hair is taking up a lot of head real estate. In the back, your hair grows right down to here. So in here, you have an ear, so you don't have hair growing there, so you only have a little bit of hair. So if you're already curling it back, it's gonna have that tendency to sit away and wanna sit behind your shoulders. This way, if you curl this whole underneath section, the part that's above your ear, just towards your head, then you're gonna have that hair naturally wanting to push forward. And then the hair on top, your fringe section, I'm doing this very quickly, can just go back away. Then you have both the best worlds. You have the front, the underneath moving forward, and like, I'm trying to see if it's happening on my head right now. They're grabbing my hand and doing it. But just above my ear, I always tend to push my hair forward by curling it forward, and the top portions where my fringe is, I'm curling it back. So now as I'm curling it back, I'm just touching the hair right now just to feel how warm it is. And there you go. So you can see it has that movement going forward and going back, just playing with texture. Like I said, feel free to use both hot tools at the same time. You don't need to use one at a time. It's great to mix all the textures together because this is what we're seeing a lot of. All right, so like I mentioned before, I'm just gonna put this down here for one quick second. We got our dry shampoos. So we had a great one from Redken, and now I'm gonna show you our Refresh by Virtue. This one is amazing as well. And I've already preset her hair with dry shampoo in her roots, which is great. But what I wanna do is actually break up her texture by using a little dry shampoo in her hair, on her ends. So I'm using it more of a styler and less as a oil eliminator. And this really gives your curls a lot more of a light, fluffy, airy. So you have more of that effortless texture, okay? Now moving on to headbands. Remember we talked earlier about the different face shapes with headbands, and I showed you with the large knot? Well, we have the scrunchy headband. So if you've seen a scrunchie and a headband and they got together and had a baby, it's basically this headband. So what I love about this is not so overpowering, too wide, but it gives a little bit of a different texture. We've seen the padded headbands that are out there that's just one fabric, smooth. Well, this one's fun because it gives it a little texture. A great way to wear it is just above. You can have your natural pieces that you want to have sitting out from it. And I don't have a mirror, so I have to look. That gives it that kind of, softness to the hairband. But if you wanted to, you can totally pull your hair back. And what changes the shape up? Now I love bringing it those little sideburns here. Remember we were talking about curling it forward, it really sits nicely. What really changes up this look is the fact that I gave it a defined part. So The headband back in the day, we used to put it in and just bring our hair back and that was it. So I'm showing you different ways of really being able to up your style when wearing a headband. You can do it by just creating a different part line. You can create a really nice swoop over and then it's held there by the headband itself. So this is really, really cool to play on and how to really elevate it to make it more current looking. All right? What do you guys think of this? Amazing. Now, before I move forward, I know earlier I was showing you the different hair oils and we had a spray shine. Well, now Alterna's come out with My Hair, My Canvas is a really great serum. It's super light. I'm gonna see if I can show you. All right, Mike, do you have this shot? Yes. Oh, he's coming around. Okay, so what's really great, I'm gonna see if I can show you. It is so light. It takes a while. It's not a kind that just takes a while to drip out. It's a step up from a hold of water. So it's a really, really nice, refined serum. And why it's so great and why you wanna look at things that are refined, it means it'll really get absorbed into your hair. So because I'm putting this on our hair when it's dry, I'm not gonna worry about like overdosing it with too much serum. The molecules in it are refined enough to be able to go right in. So if after you've created the style, you feel like it's looking a little too effortless, it's looking a little bit more homeless, you wanna be able to go in and just smooth it down with the fingers. So we can just like pop it up. And there's like a fine difference between, this is always like that fun thing. You want that messy look without it looking like out of control. So this way you have all that fun texture that's happening, but you don't necessarily have that frizz. You have the texture and it still looks like it was meant to look this way. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? All right. Okay, so moving forward, we called her Barb, so I'm gonna put Barb down over here. She's gonna sit with me on this side. And now we have our new model. Okay, so I have to show you. I mean, first thing first, I think you see the color that's popped in the front. Now I did her color here, and I won't lie, I actually had a really hard time figuring out which one I wanted to do, so I did them both. And these are two really fun colors. I know we talked a little bit earlier about the viral tones, so what I actually used on her was, this is a color deposit shampoo, and it's just straight up yellow. Like, how wicked is that? And this right here is the coral. This is a color deposit conditioner. So just goes to show you how much you can really add in there. Her hair was previously lightened, so she had an exaggerated money piece. So we were able to go ahead and have some fun with this color. So if you have this at home, this is like why I'm really bringing this to your attention. You can do some fun colors and not have to worry about the commitment of it. So why not try two different sides? Because you're gonna notice when my next style happens, with the blend through, you can really have a lot of fun. I mean, our Pantone colors of last year was gray and yellow. So that's why I wanted to show you, this looks hot. I know that's always the biggest thing that we're talking about. Oh my gosh, I don't want to see yellow. But this is on purpose and it looks really great. Not only are they great to add like a fun pop of color, but they're also great to add richness. So if you are a brunette that you feel like your hair is falling a little flat and is lacking dimension, go ahead and grab the yellow viral tone on top of brunette hair. It really helps to bring back that shine and add that little extra oomph. My hair is copper, so I'll use the yellow on top of it as well, just to really pop it up. But yesterday when I put in, I wanted to try a little bit of the conditioner coral in there, and that's what is in my money piece in the front here. All right, so moving forward, now I'm getting into my next look, which is an exaggerated part again, but instead of that effortless wave, we are seeing this everywhere. We are seeing the wet look, all right? So I've shown before in the past the wet look going back because this is a really top trend and I get a lot of questions about it. So now I'm gonna change it up to make it even more current by changing the actual parting of it. So we're gonna bring it to this side and we're gonna bring it over. So this is real life stuff. You know, you've styled your hair to go one way and the next day you want to switch it up. You don't want to have to rewash your hair. So why not go in and refresh it to be able to sit in this area? So I'm going to do that exactly. I want to bring it over like this. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So first I want to spray a little bit of our Hot Toddy, which is another great heat protectant in here. This is by Dry Bar. So I'm spraying it in. And if you notice, I'm just spraying this in loosely. Now, her clear areas where I want to make sure that is getting protected a lot is her color area. The color area is super important because a lot of you don't realize that color molecules actually break up after 370. The color itself will start to break apart. So if you're an avid flat ironer and you wonder why your toner never stays in your hair and it starts yellowing and it doesn't stay that silver or anything, the flat iron is 100% doing that. You're cooking your color off. You need a proper protectant. This one is great. Same thing. It sprays it more of it like an aerosol type. Doesn't have a wetness to it. So you can go ahead and spray that in. And then you can go through and slide a hot tool. What I feel from this than the other hot protectant that I used from, which one was it, Firewall? Firewall had a little bit more of a sheen slip. This one I would say doesn't have that kind of slip. So if you're looking for something that's less shiny and you just want just the heat protectant, the Hot Toddy works really well for that. All right, now I got my heat protectant in there and I'm gonna go in with my next refresher. This is one of those things that we use a ton during Fashion Week. Near and dear to my heart, Redken Guts will forever be in my washroom because you can literally use this for everything. So it's called Guts number 10, and anything from Redken itself has a number factor. The number factor on it is telling you what the hold is. So anything from Redken, you got 1 is the hold of water all the way up to whatever number it goes to. So when you see this number 10, it says that means it's 10 times the hold of water. So that's what that is. Now, if you read the bottle itself, it's a volumizer. So yes, you can definitely put this in your hair when it's wet. You can put it into the root area. You can blow dry your hair. It works great. But what we're going to use, and this is a super secret, is we're using this to create a wet look. So the funny thing about a wet look is your hair is actually not wet at all. So just so you know, it actually has product in it to make it look that way. All right, so I'm gonna move forward with that and I'm gonna spray that in. But before I wanna spray that in, I wanna get a hot tool ready to go. Guys, this right here, Steam Pod. Has anybody tried this yet? Steam Pod 03. It is phenomenal. So I said this before, I'm gonna talk like totally transparent with you. And like I said, we've tried a couple things. I have personally, through my past, of different things that are kind of gimmicky and tried it and didn't work and left it. But I'm gonna be totally honest with you. This is not one of those situations. I am obsessed with this because my hair is naturally curly and I do like to go ahead and have like a natural straight look to it. When I use a flat iron in my hair, because my hair is curly, tends to be a little bit more on the dry side, it literally is like poker straight. It doesn't look natural. My little baby hairs are sticking out like crazy. It doesn't fall and then it looks dry. It looks like my ends are hissing at you. Now, I was told about this and I'm like, I need to try it out. And it came to me even before it was launched in Chatters and I tried it and I am obsessed. So what you do, the whole idea is it's using steam with these hot plates here to help infuse the moisture. Now, steam and curly hair and straight sounds like a complete oxymoron to me because it's like those things don't, like I get close to steam, my hair is already like, it looks like it's growing moss, it's fuzzing out. So this is what is so incredible about this. If you've ever noticed when you flat iron your hair, you see steam come from it already. That's the actual moisture you have in your hair strands as it is. So when you put that high of heat running through, it's eliminating, it's evaporating what you have. That's why your hair tends to get super dry looking. This is different. It's infusing the steam in with the hot plates to be able to actually keep that moisture in. So any off residue of steam, it just means your hair doesn't need it, but you'll definitely notice the difference. So what you do is you take this plate off. I got my trusty little like water bottle here. You fill it up and then you put it back in. Now I've noticed, because I've tried this quite a few times, I don't run out of water with anybody's hair. So when I use this on somebody's hair for, you know, like creating a look, I don't ever have to stop and refill. This does like a full head of hair, no problem, extra long. Now I'm gonna turn it on. Whoops. I think we need to make sure it's plugged in. All right. All right. There we go. It's plugged in. All right. So there's 3 different settings. We got 350. We got, let's see here, 390, and we have 410. I'm actually going to put it into the 350 mark because I don't really need to go up higher. If your hair's on the finer side, you don't really need to go up higher than that. 450 is like if you have super thick, coarse hair and you really, or sorry, 410, it's like when you have super thick, coarse hair. But I just kind of want to show you this. So I'm going to go through the hair. I'm actually going to make this a little less exaggerated because I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit of the peach on this one side. And I'm going to take it. Now, thinking like a hairstylist right now, we want to make sure that I'm going to put her hair back in this slick, wet look. So I want to take that hair and bring it in the back way. If I straightened her hair going downwards, when I try to bring it back, all of those hairs that I just went down are going to fight me, and you're going to get all those little pieces. So remember, you got to think that in mind when you want to bring the hair back. Now, if you can hear it already, hear that kind of like heating up, it's already starting. Now, when it's ready to go, it will light up. And what you notice, and it's within seconds, oh, it's already lit, see, it's already noticed. There's a comb on the inside, which helps to comb through the hair as you smooth it through. And there's arrows. The arrows, you always want it to be pointed in the direction that you're going down. So I'm going to take this. I got my arrows pointed, and I'm just going back. It is so smooth. Like it is incredible. In fact, if you go online, I'm pretty sure they have a one swipe challenge out there. And if you look up that as a hashtag, you'll see how many people will just do one swipe and have this go through their hair. And you see it looks excellent. I just wanted to show you this as well. This hair was done with a color deposit conditioner, which it lasts a few washes, then it comes out. This is so gentle on the hair, it hasn't even lifted that. And that is, like I said, it's a color deposit. You're not going in there with peroxide or anything. It is still there. So I'm just, once again, going to take that and I'm just going to smooth it out. Also, because you are going in with the steam, you can play a little bit more on the size of your section. I've taken the section, and this is all in one shot. I was able to smooth that all, and I'm not getting those dents, all right? What's really important if you do, it's only because you took a lot of hair and you went too close to the root. You almost want to go natural, just kind of slight pulling it, slightly tap down, and then bring it to the end. Now that's going to have the exact same effect on the other side. I'm just going to bring this over for 1 second so you can see on this side. Now I know the calic there is like fighting us, and I'm going to use guts in a minute to show you, but I just want to show you how awesome this works. Like, I'm obsessed. Now, if your hair is curly and you need to brush it through first, do that because the comb itself will grab the hair and comb it through. So if it snags, you know, it's just kind of more annoying. So you just want to have a quick like run through with a brush if you need it. But I am obsessed with how smooth this looks. Like, I can't tell you enough. My hair, when I straighten it, like the ends will look like I straightened it. You know, it's like, the best way I can describe it is it kind of looks like hay, but your hair isn't like perfectly straight. It looks like you had that kink and then you just flattened it down so it has actually that S shape. That's why you don't get that really smooth look. With having the steam to infuse that moisture back in and the comb along the edge there to really comb through so you don't get that zigzag effect, it is so worth it. It is so good. Now we're just stuck on that one spot. There we go. Look it. Now I'm just going to do one area. Now, I'm not really even using a brush as I'm doing this. I'm just skimming around because I just want to get the outer area just to make sure those edges are smooth in. This is a great just finishing styler. If you've like blown out your hair and the ends look a little bit, you know, out of control, why not go in with a steam pod and just tap the ends really quickly just to smooth them out and add that moisture back in. Anybody who is avid on lightening their hair, so your hair is really, let's say, porous from color treated, this is a great way of doing that, because I'm sure you look at a flat iron and you're like, ooh, that would take my hair out. Go ahead, you can totally use the steam pod, no problem to your hair at all. Now, I noticed somebody asked me once before, it looks like the hair is wet afterwards. It's not the case. It's just because she had product in her hair. So when the steam pod went through, it almost reignites that product and cools quickly. So it only has illusion of looking like it's wet, but it's really that product. When you brush your hand through, it instantly goes away. Okay, so I've gone through with the steam pod, and now I'm gonna go in with guts. So I'm gonna find my parting again. There we go. I'm just using my finger just to be quick. Now, back when we used to do events and we could go places, this was one of my favorite looks for after work. Because if I had, you know, just had my hair done and I needed to go to an event, quickly changing it from daytime to nighttime, I would do the wet look, because it really is the easiest look. And it doesn't matter what your natural texture is. Okay, so I'm gonna use guts. And I'm gonna start on this side. Because the parting is really important, that we need to get that clean, I'm gonna shake up guts and put it in there. Now, as I'm spraying it, you're gonna notice something funny about it. It looks like it would come out like hairspray, but it really comes out like mousse. Once again, I'm gonna use the analogy, if hairspray and mousse had a baby, it would look like guts. I'm just gonna go along the hairline here and right down. Now, one of the things you might notice is that I'm putting this in dry hair, and that's kind of uncalled for. We don't usually do that with product, but this is no problem as long as you're going in with the blow dryer. Now, anybody who has naturally curly hair is probably thinking like, if I just straighten my hair and I go in with a wet product, it's just gonna reignite my curls and I'm gonna get that wave. You won't, because this is what you're going to do. I just did that to lay down that part line, but what you're really gonna do is you're gonna go in section by section. So I'm gonna start just behind the ear. I want the hair to go back and tuck behind the ear and be wet from here back. So that's where I'm gonna start my line at. I'm just gonna take that, I'm gonna put in a little bit of guts, and now I'm gonna work that in. All right, I'm gonna take one more section and do the same thing, about a ½ an inch, depending on how thick your hair is. I wanna be able to put guts in and be able to feel it all the way through. If you have a dry side, it's not going to work because the styling is gonna break apart. There's not enough product. All right, so from here, I'm probably making you a little nervous going like, where is this going? And I'm gonna take my blow dryer again with nozzle, and I'm going to go ahead and start drying it. Now I'm just setting the products. Now I would go through until this is dry, but just for the sake of time, I'm gonna whip through it again and put some more product in there. Now, playing on texture, when we add guts, this is going to dry, but it's still gonna have a touchable texture. It means it's still kind of a little bit tacky. So if I run my fingertips through there, it's gonna give a raked look. So it's gonna look like it's finger raked hair, like wet. If I go through with my brush that has more of a smoothing effect, it's gonna have a smooth down wet look. So depending on what style you wanna go with, that's your technique you're gonna do. Now I'm gonna do the same thing where I'm gonna add the guts in here, just in the root area, and I'm gonna bring it back. Now because I want this hair to go all the way back behind the ear, you gotta remember, you gotta add the guts all the way to that first line where you created. I want all those hairs to stick together. All right, I'm just gonna like go through this super fast. Guts is one of those products I find that you can't overdo it with, even though it looks like I am right now. Once you dry it, you'll notice that you might even need a little bit more to get this effect. I've had a lot of people ask me to use gel. The thing I find with gel, I mean, it totally works if you want to give it a shot, is that when it dries, you can get a little bit of a flaky appearance. And if your hair has a natural tendency to go wavy, gel is more of a wet-based product, a water-based product, sorry. So you will start to get a little bit of that wave. All right. There we go. So I'm just using my fingertips and I'm just brushing it through. I'm going to use a brush. If you have a natural tendency to go wavy, you want to use a brush that's going to give you that maximum control so it's not going to go wavy. I'm obsessed with how this curl is going and mixing together. It's so fun. Think of the different color combinations you can try out. Blue is really big, and so is teal. Those would be other ones that would be really great. So I'm just going to put a little bit more. You can see it's not quite holding on the one side. It means it just needs a little bit more product. All right. How's it looking so far, guys? Thumbs up if you can see it, okay? All right, so I'm going to do quickly on this side. Now, because this side doesn't have as much hair, I can whip through it just as fast, or sorry, faster. Now you can see how quickly you can do this style right from work, like daytime look, to a quick evening. Even if your hair has that natural curl to it, it doesn't have to be straight. You can totally emphasize the curl in the back. And just use your fingertips to dry this through so it stays and it hardens and you'll have that natural wave and it'll look really great. What I always suggest when you're trying something new, like something like this, don't do it on the day of an event. The best time to try it is when you're at home, like right now. It's a great time to be able just to kind of play around. You never want to leave something like that is like new and complicated during something that can be like high intensity, stressful time. It's like getting ready, you know, when your makeup's not working or something, if your hair's not working, you don't want to leave it to the last minute, right? So now I'm just going to dry this, going back. All right. Mike's getting all the angles right now. Look how cool that color is, Mike. Now, if you notice, right here, after I dried it, you saw I put a lot of product in there. It still doesn't have enough product because it still looks a little dry. So I would go in and just add a little bit more product in there. Just like so. Now, if this was my own face, I wouldn't be right at putting it on my face. But, you know, she doesn't mind. Notice this is why it's so important to be using the nozzle, because the nozzle itself really helps to focus that air in the right way. If I didn't have a nozzle, it would just blast my hair everywhere and I wouldn't get that clean look. Okay, now I would like to dry this a little bit more for like, that's what I would do in real life. Whoops, she has a little bit of a snaggle there, so that will drive me bananas. So I'm just gonna brush through that. Now, usually during Fashion Week, it's a really fun thing that we would do. We would use dentless clips or a business card with a clip to hold that back until it completely cooled and sealed. And it really just makes sure to ensure that. All right. Now we have that in place. Now, what I love to be able to use now is once you got it to that perfect spot, this is where you want to lock it down with hairspray. So like I said, it's the wet look that isn't really wet. So right now I'm using Total Results, the High Amplify by Matrix. This is a really high holding hairspray. So feel free to go close and just spray on those areas because you really want to lock down that look. Don't worry about spraying so close. Normally when we do like a hairspray, we just like to do it a mist. I actually want full control. So I'm in there. Now when I want this look to be locked down, I'm going to use a blow dryer and just lock down that look. And any high amplifying, what's really great with them is when you blow dry it down, it actually emphasizes the shine. There we go. So talking about color moving into spring, summer. So we know that balayage, like I mentioned, was a hot thing. Now, if you want to try something new, definitely go into getting that money piece put into your hair where the highlight is brought up a little bit higher in the front. Feel free to make it, if you want to like push the envelope a little bit more, make it thicker. Just like this money piece here, we are definitely seeing those thick, chunky kind of highlights coming back. And a thick money piece in the front is a lot of fun. If going bright colors isn't your thing at the moment, then go with something that is like 3 shades lighter than what your natural is. It's a great way to just play around with it. And after you get there, if you want to go and have some fun, why not using one of the viral color deposits shampoos or conditioners to add a lot of fun to it. If you want to keep that like color tone on tone being a little more balanced but have some fun with it, stay in your level. So her level right now is a level 5. Remember I was talking about that level system with hairstylists? Go in with a color that is like a deep blue to a deep teal. That would be more in your level 5. So it won't be so bright in your face. It'll have such a great mix with your natural color. These are things that are a lot of fun. These placements, it's all about the fun placements. And what a great spot is in the front. I mean, this is totally zoom hair. You're spending all the money in the front. Nobody sees what's going on in the back. So get that money piece in there and have some fun with it. All right. So now I've just like locked down her hair. Her hair is like super sealed, ready to go. Now I'm gonna step this up. So I'm all about double duty. So when you're doing something, I want it to look fabulous, but I want something else to be happening. So that's why I love this Virtue here. This is an ends sealer. So it's great as a treatment, but it works for styling as well. Not necessarily a styler, it's more for like making sure that your ends are staying fantastic. You put it on your ends when it's wet, you can put it on when it's half wet. I'm gonna put it on when it's dry because it goes with our look right now. And it's also giving her an end sealer treatment. So I'm just putting a little bit, it's just a cream base. I'm gonna take it in my hands. Distribution of any cream is so important to know. You don't wanna glock it into your hand and just like right into the air, right? You wanna make sure to move it around and like have it like totally on your hands, just like if you were moisturizing your hands, and then you're gonna run it in. Also notice that, like I mentioned before, I use the color shampoo and the color conditioner, which is a temporary hair color. There's no commitment to it. And when I went in with the steam pod and the blow dryer, it didn't affect the color whatsoever. And that's because we also put on the firewall for a heat protector. So important. So I love this. Like, look how cute this is. Not only is she rocking that like sleek back look, but then her ends have it and she's getting a treatment at the same time. Bonus. Okay, so I talk a lot about the care of before, then you style, and then you're gone, right? That's how it works in the salon. I do your hair and then you leave. But I want to talk about how to do your style after, because that's important. You guys saw how much guts I put in the hair, right? And hairspray. So why not get into Virtue, which is a scalp exfoliating shampoo and rinse. This is great because after when you've done a lot of styling in your hair, there's a buildup of product, and it doesn't even have to be you have a lot of product. You could be going on day 5 and you haven't washed your hair and you've been using a lot of dry shampoo. This is your go-to. Also, what we've noticed is in the in-between seasons, when it's like, you know, deep cold, that's one, but our falls, our springs, the climates are changing. Like right now, our January has been kind of funny because it's been going like, you know, super hot, or not super hot, but it's been like mild, and then it goes freezing like today. You're gonna notice like your scalp is gonna be doing a little bit of funny stuff. So this is usually when you get scalp conditions. So you'll have like dry, brittle scalp. You'll see a lot of the residue starting to come up. This is a great time to go in with your exfoliator. So when you have a lot of product, or your scalp is acting up, Virtue is one of my favorites. So you're gonna go in, you're gonna really break it up, work it in. If your hair is like sealed with a lot of product in it, make sure to like run some water through it. You don't have to worry about shampooing it at the moment. Just go in with this first, and you're gonna take those fingertips and you're gonna really massage it into the scalp. Like no just like brushing and like rinsing it out. You wanna take those fingertips and really work it in. Leave it for a minute or two, rinse it out. Don't be worried if you don't get a lather. It's not about that. It's about lifting up that debris. Then you're gonna double shampoo. So go in, double shampoo, like just a regular shampoo, only a quarter size, and work it in. You'll find you'll get the best lather you've ever had, and it'll take up anything that could be on the scalp or that is on and remaining on the hair. How does that sound to you guys? Yay! And what's great is you have this treatment on the ends, so your hair is done. It's perfect. Guys, I have to say, thank you so much for joining me today. It has been such an awesome event. I mean, it's so cool that Chatters is coming out with these spring, summer, Virtue, these style events. So make sure to stay tuned because there will be more coming in the you know, fall, winter. We'll be able to do a lot more of these. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Cindy Duplantis. I was your hair expert. And I want to say thank you to everybody from the Chatters team and Lola Bean Studio and Mike from 20th Century Valley, right? Yes. For our media and our camera work and lighting today that blew out all of my wrinkles. We like that. Thank you guys so much for joining today. Take care and stay safe. Bye. Mwah.